AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Central Hudson reminds you that summer thunderstorms can strike with strong, gusty winds, knocking down trees and power lines. If you see a downed power line, call 911 immediately to report it. Power lines can carry an electric current strong enough to cause injury or death. Stay at least 30 feet away from a fallen line. Don't try to move it or anything that has come in contact with it. And never drive over a power line. Remember, your safety matters.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Like that either.
Well, I like that too.
Good morning, Ulster County. It's a
Good
Heidi and
morning.
Friends show, and I have with me today Len Bernard.
How are you today, Heidi?
I'm looking tired, apparently.
We're just
Don't look at that.
No,
I probably
looking
need
at
to
it.
wipe off some of the dust. You look fine. It's just
You need a filter. That's
I
it.
need a
No,
filter.
that's
So-
pretty funny.
you.
So how's it go?
Actually,
We're just talking about how Friday's a tough day.
I know. I was thinking about that, though, kind of all week. It's like, I'm going to talk about, and then I'm like, Friday's a really tough show because
It is.
everything's been, what a week it's been.
Right.
Or 2 weeks, really.
Really.
But everything's been talked about.
You know, it's funny because I walk in and I see a plastic Jesus on the table. Give me the plastic Jesus. I'll hold it up.
yeah. He's left over from yesterday.
There we go. It was left over from yesterday.
Yeah, 'cause
and
Scott-
that's an old Imus bit.
A listener sent that in.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care if it rains or freezes as long as it's got the plastic Jesus. Well, that's Scott Harrington's bit now, I guess. So
Yeah,
we can't even use that.
Can't even use the plastic
See,
Jesus.
we can't.
We need to come up with original material.
That's right. We
Original
do.
material only.
Could find the Blessed Mother statue somewhere.
Yeah,
I
but there's no
guess.
song that goes with the Blessed Mother. But nonetheless. So, you know, it's interesting. I think I really want to talk about, and I didn't even talk to you about this. No, don't get nervous. It's a good thing.
Already getting nervous.
They're opening up the mental health again facility, not the hospital to
Where?
here in Kingston. I was in the paper. No, you're saying no to me. What did I read that?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure what you've read. I don't want to give the wrong impression.
No,
because
I
they're
don't
not
either.
They're not bringing back our beds as current.
They're not.
No.
I really thought I read that because my feeling is
No, we're
it's
continuing
great.
to try to offer more mental health services, and that's going to be something that the county executive is going to speak on moving forward.
Right. That's
But mental detox beds and whatnot, as we've known them at the Marys Avenue Benedictine campus, is not.
and it's funny. That's what I thought the initiative was. Pat, I thought I read it. Well, sorry, I misread.
Yeah,
Obviously,
no, that's okay.
Because it's those beds are really important. And the reason I wanted to talk about it because I heard a great
Services.
phrase.
We don't want to just make it be about that.
Well, it's the old story of you treat the disease and not the addiction. And that's what's really the important part about those beds. So I'm sorry, Heidi, I didn't really.
No, I think
thought,
what you may have read was that we're going to try to expand upon our mobile mental health unit
Okay.
and things like that. But no, we're really in a jammed up spot.
Yeah, we
right
are.
now with that because
we do.
Quite
need it.
honestly, we talk a lot about having them bring them back, but what we don't talk about or often hear about is the fact that although we were grateful to have what we had,
Right.
it still wasn't serving to the fullest capacity that we needed. We needed to not only bring them back, but
Correct.
expand upon them. Because we have people from outside our county coming in and using those beds.
Isn't that
So
amazing?
we're not, we're trying to service the people who are in need here,
Right.
who are sick and suffering, and yet we were still under
Yeah.
capacity. So then
I
you take away what wasn't even really enough, and you got yourself a problem.
Well, I hope, Pat and John Milgram and those guys are listening
Oh,
this
yeah,
morning.
absolutely.
Only because I really misread. And it's sad because I go back to the same point. You have to really deal with the disease, right, and mental health, and, to help the addiction. And I can say that over and over again because I truthfully
Yeah,
believe
you know,
it's a tough gig. I mean, we talked about Danny, how great he's doing and stuff, and
Yeah.
he talks about it himself.
Well, you and I and people like Danny Savona, for instance, been talking about this since 2014, 2015, and people
Yeah.
before that.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, now we're in a budget situation, a funding situation, but we have to still stay focused on people who are sick and suffering because we're seeing an increase in that. And,
More and more
that
people
with a
getting
lack of, pulling back on a lack of services, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it is. It's funny, again, how one thing rolls into another. The other really funny issue is, I was talking to somebody yesterday in Sullivan County, and people said, oh, this kid's a tough campaign season. It's not a tough campaign season. It's a tough election season. The election starts next week. I mean, with the,
really true.
yeah. So you figure you got the mail-in ballots, you got the voting early, you have all sorts of stuff going on. That it's I think
So where did they see that it was tough? Because it was during a pandemic? Or just because of the national politics?
no, because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's caused, we have to keep reminding people. It's funny because I had run into Adrian that works for Board of Elections, lives right on the street I live on. And she was also saying how there's so much confusion still, how to get the ballot, So, just to remind people, they can go online. New York State has a site, the Board of Elections, there's a portal there that you can get a absentee. You can go to the Board of Elections, you could write in, again, but you have to ask for that application. And that's where it's at.
An application to request an absentee ballot.
Right, it's still, you
Not
still
plan to vote
have
in
to do
person.
that.
You have to request that and fill
Correct.
out a form.
Correct. So it's really an interesting matter. And then, of course, everybody's still dealing with this little tidbit is how do you verify the signatures, right? Because some states, not New York State, but some states, the Board of Elections themselves verify against what they call the buck card or your original signature card. And that's a bear. So imagine, we don't have to do that here in New York State. That's up to the candidates in terms of recount and things like that, either to challenge a signature or not. But imagine those states who have to really now look through all of those things. This is going to be an outcome. It's going to take some time, I think, for an outcome of all of these elections this year. It's not going to be that night and people are going to be declaring their victories. So it's going to be a strange thing. Anyway.
Well, speaking of elections, you want to announce our guest that's coming up at
Go
8
ahead.
You go ahead.
No, well, yeah, we have.
So excited.
I am. It's funny. Months ago, the Executive Committee in the Independence Party had come up with a candidate, and he was vetted. His name is Brock Pierce. And then we went down with Frank and myself and Ari and Rick Belando. A couple of us got together, and we made an announcement that he was our candidate. And then last week, he opened up, 2 weeks ago, pardon me, he opened up his campaign headquarters. And we have some Brock for President signed little cards here with lawn signs. If anybody wants one, just call in and let us know. So it's an interesting time.
And you're going to be having Brock call in. And
We are. We have, we talked about it, and, this question we could ask him, obviously, why the reasons he believes, I'm going to speak for the guy, but I'm sure, we could ask him the question, that third parties are important in the United States. Because when you have two, they're polarizing, he'll get into that. But
good, and he's coming up at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Calling into the studio.
I'm wondering if this is the first presidential candidate to ever call into KCR.
Probably the first third-party presidential candidate, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, just he's a child actor by way of background, right? He played in the Mighty Ducks and the President's Son with Sinbad. He played the little boy that was the President's son. Very articulate guy. He's kind of funny, but he's a serious, really serious guy. His running mate, Carla, is fabulous. I mean, she is truly a believer in good government. She's truly a believer in righteousness. And I have to tell you, I'm really happy with his pick for his vice presidential partner. With that said, I don't know if she'll be on with him. Frank said that they're trying to get them together, but they weren't sure because they're both traveling. But nonetheless, we should maybe have her on if we can, if we have time. She's really brilliant.
Carla Ballard.
Yep, she's a Cherokee Indian, and they did a great webcast. I don't know if you watched it at all.
Maybe.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Oh, yes, I did, actually. They
yeah.
were out west somewhere.
That's right,
They went to
Window
a
Rock.
reservation.
That's right. They went to the reservation,
I did watch that.
and that was pretty cool. Because we don't realize, what our government has done, to Indians. and just kind of packed them into a little area. So she is really a super, super person.
Good.
What else you got going on? You're making me laugh. How do you hold in your head? Is this a bad thing?
No.
We're believers.
That's coming up at 8.
So what's happening at? Oh no, we have birthday parties at 8 too. So.
Oh yeah, we have to get through we'll definitely get through our birthdays,
Yeah.
and yeah. So it's been an interesting 2 weeks.
It has, yeah.
had,
since we got together.
It was September 11th was the last time we were here. There's been a lot.
Jerome's dying to come. Jerome.
Oh, well,
John.
anytime. It's an open invitation, and
Yeah.
I would appreciate him joining us. And again, thanks to our good sheriff Juan Figueroa for extending, allowing him to join us, especially on September 11th. They had a lot of different memorials going on
Yeah,
that
they
day.
did. Yeah, they did.
Some different services.
9/11 was a tough day to have a show too. We've had some tough days to have shows.
Yeah.
We have. But again, I was happy to do the show. I'm sure you were as well.
Yes, no, the show turned out good.
But so we have to have a shout out here
Okay.
to Brian Rounds,
Oh my gosh.
the sheriff. There's a
Don't
bunch of
talk
people.
about it. Why are you talking about it?
Why?
Because what if you get tagged?
I can't get tagged. I can't do 8 push-up. I'm going to do 20. What are you kidding me? I'll do it like
22. No, but honestly, I've been following the veterans reintegration
Yeah.
and the group that's been rowing
Yeah.
up and down the Hudson, bringing awareness
Yeah.
to veteran suicide. And they're just such a great group. And
They are.
Brian and everybody else with their push-ups, it's really quite amazing.
Oh my God! Did you see Juan yesterday? Juan has
Watch-
Jerome.
Yes. Oh, yes, they were outside.
They
I
were
did see
outside.
that.
4 of them are doing
I
it.
watch them and I break out and I have a little sweat going on just watching them because I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
John McGovern.
Yeah.
I think he actually called out Nuzzo.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And,
Yeah, it's interesting.
every
but-
time I get tagged in that, I'm thinking, please don't let it be me.
Yeah, I'm always tagged in it too, and I have to give.
But it's
Brian.
for awareness, yes, and absolutely.
Brian has done a great job. Just that. I mean, he's a very charismatic guy.
I saw one where Peter Humphreys was in the background in a bear suit, and that
Oh, is that right?
just made me laugh. But everything apparently is making me laugh today.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I guess.
You're in a good mood.
Either that or I'm overtired.
Aw.
So yeah, definitely, that's a very
No, that
very
was-
important issue.
Yeah, I want to shout out to Brian, really, and the rest of them, Juan, and whoever's doing these push-ups. Yeah, if I ever get called out, forget it. I'll
No, we'll have to entice you with Mighty Wings or something.
something.
What were they called? The Mighty Bites?
Mighty Bites, yeah.
Mighty Wing Bites from McDonald's.
Yeah, something. No, what are they called? Oh my God,
They're
they
like
still
chicken
have them.
nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
They're like chicken
Yeah,
nuggets.
Mighty Wings.
The Mighty Wings. They're boneless.
I love those.
I
Remember
could- yeah, I know. It's a small addiction.
years ago? God, it's funny. Yeah, but no, yeah,
I've been seeing that a lot in my feed as well.
me too.
Yeah.
And again, it's because we're tagged in it, obviously. But it's a lot of fun to watch these guys, and quite frankly, like you said, it's an amazing cause.
Yeah. And to that, I actually got to see a good friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while. I don't really see many people lately. Charlie Alongi, who's with the Rolling Thunder.
Oh, is that right?
They do the street renaming, like the
Yeah.
Sean Farrell one
Yeah,
out
yeah,
in our town.
yeah.
He actually went to the Roost yesterday. My mom. He had stopped in over at my office,
Oh, is
my
that right?
former office that I'm no longer at,
Wow.
looking to say hi. So I went over to the
That's
Roost,
cool.
met him and a few of his friends, and they do an amazing job with their street dedications too.
Yeah, they do. You know, what came up on my news feed was some of the stuff with Sean
Yeah.
Farrell. That was strange, right? 3 years
Yeah,
ago, the Sean Farrell Memorial page.
Oh, I know why that came up.
Yeah, I guess it was its anniversary.
No, because we were also at that time at your rink, we did. Oh my gosh, Chief Miller.
Right, Chief Miller. We did his
Eddie Miller's.
Eddie Miller's memorial service there as well.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
the rink. So I think that's why that came up, because I was wondering, it's not really an anniversary date.
Yeah, no, yeah, it wasn't that, but it came up. But I reposted it because it's tough to watch that kind of stuff. But looking back at all the people, that have come through, great
Organizations, too, that help
Yeah.
us hold up our hometown heroes and
Yeah.
Gold Star families
Yeah.
who truly know the depth of service and sacrifice. We appreciate them, not only for their service, but for their continued support
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
our communities.
So there's also the Hudson Wire, News Wire or something.
Oh,
That's a new. It's a
It's
new
new.
news outlet, and I got a message from a girl who used to be a roller derby person, Jane, who's a writer of the Shamgum Journal, and she's said they just put on you Reynolds as a writer. And yeah, so that's really cool.
Good.
It's good to listen. When Mario and you were on, I watched the show online, and you's a great guy. I mean, he knows the history. He understands obviously the ins and outs of politics and the reasons why people get involved and not get involved. He's good, so I'm glad that he made it to the team. So it's going to be interesting because Jane's younger. I don't think she's probably a 30-something, and so to have you around, it's going to be interesting.
Another face that I don't see, that
Yeah.
here anymore. With the county legislature, meeting, we would
Yeah.
always, during session,
Yeah.
we'd see everybody, but yeah.
No, not enough.
So,
When do you guys go back in person?
okay, so I was just going to bring that up actually. We have this really big project that's going on. It's the pilot for the Kingstonian, and as I'm sitting here, my phone is literally blowing up with, letters. A lot of letters of support, to be honest with you, is what I've been getting
That's
for,
good.
for the past two days now. Many letters, overwhelming amount of letters of support.
Listen, we have to grow, and that's a positive growth. I mean, everybody talks about housing. Well, that is housing. I mean, it's important to have and use the assets we have here. And that I really do believe that Kingstonian project is a positive one. Now, some could disagree and say it's viewscapes and 100 other things, but quite frankly, I really do embrace it. I do. We need to. I mean, there are some people who can make the argument that we can't. I get it, but I hope that a lot of people do come out in favor. It's always, the anti-people who always kind of are the loudest in the room. I get it, and that's the way things are. But I'm glad that you're saying that you're getting a lot of positive.
Yeah,
letters.
I'm getting an overwhelming amount of positive support. But with that being said, at the past meeting of the legislature, there were quite a few people, what we call in the call-in room, waiting for their public comments to be heard. I think to the tune of over 60 or so. But it was Fawn's job, because what the legislature, because of the time that we're in right now, we've limited the items to speaking on the topics that are only on the agenda.
Gotcha.
Only agenda items.
Gotcha.
So it was Fawn's job to screen all the calls, why are you calling? But there was a lot of people wanting to call in regarding the Kingstonian project.
And it wasn't on the
It
agenda.
wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah.
So.
That's
also-
interesting.
I've also been receiving a lot of correspondence regarding keeping the, we had considered, I think we were supposed to go back perhaps in August, but logistically, we just aren't able to do that. There's going to be, perhaps some colleagues that won't go back, so we're still trying to figure everything out. But one of the most important things, and this is, I'll wrap it up here, we want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard during public comment, and even for those who are not able to come in, physically be in the chamber, that they have some type of a mechanism for their voice to be heard, because yes, that is very, very important.
So you're saying that you might continue
We've
Zoom?
Well, we're going to have to continue Zoom. That's a definite, and
For
I don't
the
know
public
how. I
hearing.
don't know how they're going to. I don't know how they're going to work it out. But, that's really been a concern moving forward. We've really tried to avoid controversial items on the agenda because that would attract a large number of public speakers, and we want to make sure that no one's voice is disenfranchised.
Right. Yeah. Well,
So
that's important.
we've really tried to be, as a body, be very cognizant of that.
Yeah.
So there's just so many things that we're, working with, and
Yeah. That's
government still has to function.
It does, and it has to function in a way that is productive. That's the other issue. Again, we had the death of, Ruth Ginsburg, and quite frankly, the first thing that came to my mind, obviously, you know how many glass ceilings she broke. Harvard, it goes on and on. The list is amazing. And you saw my post. My post was with her with a finger up, because she was a tough woman. She was smart, and she knew how to fight a fight. But what's more important is her relationship with Scalia. They were complete opposites. Let's face the hard facts. But they were also best of friends. And I think that's what we really have to focus on again. We talk about the Kingstonian. We talk about all these things, the pros and who's against and who's for. All that's great. But really, when you're on sometimes the opposite fight or whatever, it really is still important to maintain that friendship and to maintain
Try to find common ground.
You have to. And I think with her death, for me, obviously it's all the glass ceilings, I'll say again, that were important. But what was as important is that she was able to be so righteous about the issues she believed in, but yet so open-minded to sit down and discuss with a guy like Scalia, who I understand wasn't quite as easy as, they butted heads a lot. So, but to think they were very, very dear friends is quite amazing as well. But again, that's what it should be. Because you hear what's going on already. Are they going to, put somebody up? They're not going to put somebody. It's like, come on, the fight hasn't even. We haven't even started. We don't even know who the candidate is. I guess Trump is naming a candidate tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
Or
yes.
Saturday, whatever. Yeah, tomorrow's Saturday, right? So then you have the 24, 48, 72-hour news cycle about it. It's mind-boggling to some extent. But unlike, that is a situation where the same thing with something like the Kingstonian. Why? It's like, let's talk about it. Why is it good? Why is it
it's
bad?
the biggest issue is the pilot. It's
listen.
not the project. I don't
I'm the
necessarily think. Yeah, I know.
I'm the poster
We want to
boy.
talk about pilots. I'm sorry.
Right, no, it's good. No, it's cool because we need to educate.
You should know.
No, because we need to educate pilots, okay, like my pilot, which was a simple pilot. It was a 10-year pilot. A pilot means a payment in lieu of taxes. So you pay for the right to have it. And then when you pay taxes over the course of the 10 years, it's equal to the total amount of taxes that were there, that needed to be paid. So, but a lot of people don't know that. But when you start getting to the deviated, the harder pilots, the long-term pilots, that's when people get a little concerned about. Like, you can't blame them.
Yeah, and it all revolves around the developer providing basically a benefit in place of the taxes back to the community.
Correct. When you say benefit, what kind of benefits do you think they should be? I'm just curious.
The Kingstonian?
Yeah.
I'd rather not comment on that, but they've offered up some of their own already. The parking garage
Right.
is one. whatchamacallit.
I always joke.
They're also even talking about giving a $50,000 student scholarships, 50,000
per year.
in student scholarships, and that's actually on Spectrum News this morning. They're doing a pretty good
Cool.
informative piece on it.
I always joke when I sold the rink. I said to the kids, we don't have a skateboard park. I says, well, there's this Kingstonian. Why don't you go down there and voice your opinion in City Hall, and get a park, get a skate park, get a place you could roller skate and play hockey. They all laughed. I says, well, it's the time to do it. And it's true, because activities, listen, those people who live there will have children and will have something to do as well. So, there's so many good things that can come out of a project, like you said. So let's see if they what concessions they're willing to make. But getting back to pilots, sometimes it's more important to have something and hope that those taxes are made up other ways. With gas, buying food. The list goes on and on.
Yeah, there's some public restrooms, 14 low-income housing units. These are some of the things that they are willing to provide contingent to their pilot.
This was brought up to me many years ago. A project like this one in the same location. And years ago, we had in the city, we had something called Mitchell-Lama, the Mitchell-Lama housing. It's on the Lower East Side. Right on the water. And make a long story short, it was the same situation. So many apartments had to be for people who made income up to $50,000. We could talk about this after break, but
before we go to break, we should talk about our radiothon. And
Yeah.
it's still continuing. We need your help so that we can reach the goal of 12,000. You can call in at 331-1004 or send a check to Kingston Community Radio, P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, New York, 12402. We want to hit our goal. We're about right at $7,850.
Well, actually, not to interrupt you, but I just, on the answering machine in there, we just got another pledge. We're at 8,100 now.
Oh, that's
So
right.
all we need is $3,900, and we can put this thing to bed
good stuff.
until it will be good until probably around the end of March, beginning of April.
Yeah, so, definitely try to make a pledge as
Yeah,
big or as small.
$8,100 we're at, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
We'd like to get it done by the end of the month, but if we got to, go on an extra week or so, we have the Happy Christmas Fund coming up on November 5th, so we don't want to overlap them, and we want to be done, but
Yep.
I think we will be, so.
But we want to hit our goal, so that's the
Definitely.
that's it.
So we'll go to break, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Central Hudson reminds you that summer thunderstorms can strike with strong, gusty winds, knocking down trees and power lines. If you see a downed power line, call 911 immediately to report it. Power lines can carry an electric current strong enough to cause injury or death. Stay at least 30 feet away from a fallen line. Don't try to move it or anything that has come in contact with it. And never drive over a power line. Remember, your safety matters.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from Town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
And we're back.
Hey, Heidi, cold?
A little bit.
A little bit.
I got my scarf
No
on.
heat, Heidi.
That's what happens when you have a really short haircut.
Oh, is that what it
It's
is?
cold back here. Yeah.
Okay. So I was talking about Mitchell Housing before the break, and basically it was based on income. So if you made, $40,000 a year, so many apartments would go to that, 50, 100. So you had literally apartments of neighbors. One person was, vice president of a company, making a couple $100,000 a year, living next to a person who was a policeman, perhaps, that was making, 30 or 40 or $50,000 a year. But it really assimilated people together. It's called Mitchell. They still exist today in the city. A lot more than you think.
That is at the top of our issues. It is lack of housing in general. And
of course.
I feel so bad for any first-time homebuyers right now in our area.
It's insane. The market, they say, it's funny.
Seller's market, but man, think of someone, a young couple who's
They got to move out of the area.
looking to buy a home, and for me, I remember when my husband and I were first looking to buy a home.
Right.
I was about 22,
Right.
not quite 23 yet, and there was a real estate book. It was fatter than this.
Right.
Subject notebook, and you'd look through it.
Right.
He must have printed it out quarterly. I don't even know. We got our hands on one somehow, and we would just spend the day driving around the area, and I would see a house that was $100,000,
Right.
and that just blew my mind. A house that was listed at $100,000 was just so I couldn't even.
It's insane.
About it. And my first home I bought from my grandmother for $65,000.
Right.
I put. Not me, but Wayne put $35,000 down.
And his blood, sweat, and tears.
Well, afterwards, yeah, he sold everything. His truck, his jet skis, his everything. He came up with that down payment.
Right.
Plus, the man's just always been. He worked for
He's an amazing guy.
as a teenager growing up. Yeah. So in any case, and then my mortgage, she held the note on $30,000.
Right.
My mortgage was $337.54.
Wow, you remember it like
Yeah.
it was yesterday.
But that house was $65,000, and then he put blood, sweat, and tears into fixing it up, and 9/11 occurred, and we sold it for twice as much.
Wow.
And then we were able to build our current home.
And
But
that's what's going on again today.
yeah,
Out by us, we're looking perhaps to keep the studio and sell the house because we have the lake house, and it's just too much work, the house now. For
a lot of houses to maintain.
It's a lot of house for Terry and I.
Yeah.
We're rattling around in it.
It's so funny because back when I was building, everyone wanted the big, giant colonials and the 4,000 square foot homes. And you know how I've been the past couple of years.
Of course.
I want a tiny house.
Look what we're doing on the lake.
Yeah, but that's perfect size. 1,200
is.
square foot. I don't know what your square footage is, but
Not that much more than that.
no, maybe 15.
Yeah.
And before I was working full time, back in my
Right.
part-time days, I lived in my camper
Yeah,
from
exactly.
May to October.
That's right.
And it was a little tiny, it was a large as
Right.
in the way that RVs go, but nonetheless, I'm like, this is 400 square feet, and I
Yeah.
have everything I need, and it was just so simple.
Yep.
And then I go home to this monstrosity for, we have
Sure,
a
of course.
decent-sized home, but it's hard to clean.
It
and
is. You don't
maintain.
realize it. It is. It takes a lot
Mowing
of
and
time.
the plowing and
Absolutely. It's all the maintenance. I'm really excited.
liberating.
It is liberating. I tell you, we're finishing up now. We're really getting to a point where we're done. Matter of fact, all the appliances are in and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there yesterday, I'm scraping paint off the windows, and here comes a wren. And he just sits there, and he's literally on the dock, and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, this is so amazing. And then I come back to the Boodle Hole house, and it's about 5:30 or so, getting to be about dusk. And there's a bunch of deer in the field, you know. So, you know, it's like, you know, pick one. You know, we're just so blessed here. But getting back to the point about cost of homes, you know, a lot of people live in the city. They're leaving the city for a lot of different reasons, and more being COVID. But education, you know, it used to be that people picked areas because of the school districts. The way things are going now is that it's becoming less and less. And schools, even Roundup, where your kids go and I live in, they're even upping their game now. They have no choice. I know a lot of people complain about some of the decisions, and you know, but you're going to have that too. But the long and the short of it is that it's getting to be a better school district every time, every year.
It is. This is kind of not the best year to
No,
gauge
it's
what a
not.
school district is like. But speaking of school districts, I just want everyone to know that many of the districts are starting to move to what's called their hybrid model, which basically means that a portion of students are going to start to go physically into the school and for some of the time, yet some of the students will still remain at home. So Rondout's going to transition to their hybrid model, what they call their hybrid model, on October 5th. So you might start seeing school buses being out on the roads again.
So be careful, yeah.
I've noticed even on my own road, like my dad drives for a private school. He drives for First Student, which the irony, considering he is a direct descendant of Ethan Allen. But nonetheless, he drives for First Student. He drives a small bus, and he drives for a private Waldorf school over in New Paltz. So he actually continued to drive because that school stayed open.
Interesting.
However, as we transition to our hybrid models for a lot of the schools, you're going to start seeing more buses out on the roads again. And that's going to be happening within the next couple weeks, hopefully. Hopefully that we can start to. Now, when Lydia, my daughter, goes into the high school, she's in 9th grade. Her hybrid model, in a very simple way, looks like going to school on Wednesdays and Thursdays every other week.
Wow. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a really tough
At least
one.
she's getting to see her friends a couple times.
That's the kicker. She's going to be like either on the A or the B team.
I see.
So her good friends could be on a B team,
she's on
and
the
they're
B
going the opposite days.
Gotcha.
And you know, just another reminder, a typical school day doesn't look like a typical school day anymore.
No.
There's no walking down the hallways and lallygaging and the girls
Yeah, it's
hanging out in
true.
the bathroom and the locker room.
Smoking. No.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, that's one good thing. So, but nonetheless, it doesn't even resemble. But like I said, just know that moving forward, this is going to be occurring. And I understand, in accordance with our county executive yesterday, that there was an incident at the Kingston High School food service where a food service worker tested positive, but the county health department is looking into the results of that test. So
It's so crazy. It takes one person, you know.
yeah, and so nonetheless, they're taking another look into that. But this is what we're going to be looking at as we move forward.
Yeah. What do they call it? The new norm?
Yeah, and that thing is just annoying.
I don't. Yeah,
You get
that
annoyed by
annoys me.
that a little
I
bit?
really do.
And it
I-
didn't
it's-
start annoying me until a couple weeks
No, it
ago.
annoys me
where
a lot,
now
actually.
it's like annoying me. But no, I'm not annoyed by you. I mean, not right now in this moment.
No, I get it. It's just annoying that to have to hear those words.
Yeah, I don't want this to be it. That's But I think we're going to have some changes.
I'm turning into my mother too. You know, she passed at 97 or 90, whatever. Yeah, but she used to always say, things were different years ago.
No,
You
that's what
know.
I sound like.
I sound like her now.
Yeah, and look at me. I'm like, I don't even recognize the world I'm raising my kids in. But I mean, really, though, that really is true.
No, but they go back. Listen, you got Liddy, you have Bryce, and you just hope they go into the woods, have their little, fires, or bonfires or whatever, and with their friends.
Stay safe. I had a conversation with them yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, they all came over to the house. It was late afternoon. I said, where are you guys heading? And there's a group of like 5 of them. They're good friends. And they said, we're going to go to a soccer game, but we have to stay in our cars to watch the game. I mean, like, again, and my brain is like, wow, what kind of world are we living in? Because there's only allowed to be 2 family members per game.
Yeah.
So they were going to sit in their car and enjoy the game themselves. And I one of them likes to drive a little bit fast.
Oh, jeez.
And I said to that individual, and I said to all of them, I love you all so much as a group of kids that it would really hurt my heart if one of you's, made a bad choice. It's all about choices.
Oh, it is.
And I explained to them the best way to get out of a jam is to not get in
Get
a
a
jam.
jam, yeah.
And to a degree, I don't want us as a society to lower the bar so low for these kids right now because, it's COVID. So, that if we set the bar down here and then accept anything above that bar, is okay. That's not good enough.
No.
What is it teaching our kids?
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because when you say to anybody, I don't care at what age, you say don't do something, what happens? You're going to revolt, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, they say that about kids, but it's about everybody. I'm sorry to say.
Just want these kids to arrive safely into adulthood.
I think that's
set up
the
with
message.
the tools and the skills that they need. And I look around right now, and it makes you feel like you're failing as a parent because we're not, we're not capable of. The other day, I caught Lydia laying in the bed on her Zoom class. I think it was. I woke. It was Monday morning. I'm like, okay, are you up? Get ready. Yeah, I'm up. I'm like, okay, I'm downstairs getting myself together, and her class starts at 7:40, and so I go in, shortly thereafter to check, and she's like, in the bed. What are you doing? Are you on? And she doesn't have her camera on, I'm like, oh, no, we're not having this. I'm like, come on, up out of the bed. Mom, nobody else gets out of the bed. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no, you're going to be up. You're going to, be at least have, you could have comfortable pants on, but you're going to have shirt. You're going to brush your teeth. You're going to brush your hair. You're going to sit at your desk. But it's just so bizarre.
Why, but?
Why are you asking me that?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, if it's global studies, how is she supposed to take notes laying in the bed like that?
All right. So there's the note part. I get that.
I'm not saying that every student should have
I get the notes.
a desk or what have you, but I put it on social media,
right?
Because I needed strength that day. I needed someone to send me strength but I just find keeping a schedule.
Yeah.
But last night I had an 8:30 Zoom meeting, and I was like, I can't wear these pants anymore. So luckily Zoom's only from here up.
Right.
And you're sitting with your fuzzy pants on, nobody can tell, and that's fine. But I just know in order to take notes and whatever,
I get it.
You got to be in an upright position.
I do.
You need to maintain, I'm having a hard time because her gym teacher requires a certain amount of steps.
Oh, they have a step thing?
Yes, so they want her to submit,
You're kidding
on
me.
your iPhone, you can have a thing and screenshot it.
Yeah.
It's only 2,100 steps, but they don't leave the bedroom. They don't leave their work area, so they're not even walking in a hallway.
That's funny.
So I guess now it falls on me to do exercise to make her exercise. I believe it's very important, don't get me wrong.
All she has to do is walk to your mother's house or walk back.
To the mailbox.
Walk to the mailbox.
She order a package or something,
Right.
go down the mailbox and get it. No, 2,100 steps would take her about 35 minutes.
Oh,
so
was
she'd
it?
probably have to walk to the end of Marcotte on the Lucas Avenue. And,
Oh, really? That far?
Yeah, because I've walked 2,100 steps. That's about 35 minutes. Just at a moderate pace, whatever. But nonetheless, you can't even get 2,100 steps when you're not, she comes down maybe to get...
follow Wayne around.
Oh, you know what? I did a challenge with him when we had the Fitbit, and we were really excited about that.
Yeah.
So I'd get to work at 9 a.m., and I had my Fitbit on, and I did my, whatever, maybe 1,000 steps. Not even, probably, at that point. And all of a sudden, I get the alert, and it's 9:30, and the man hit 10,000 steps already.
I lose.
That's why I took that picture of him yesterday. He doesn't sit.
No, he does wood.
Yeah, he's a woodchuck.
He's that's a great story, but I won't tell it.
Yeah, but he is he's amazing. Their work ethic, that whole entire family, and anyone who knew my mother-in-law from Lydia's Country Deli, and now my sister-in-laws also. They're just all my in-laws. They have such an incredible work ethic.
Yeah.
And just wonderful people. But my husband's out the door by 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Getting that bread onto the shelves. And
when does he sleep?
So he'll get home anywhere between 10:30. If he's listening, or someone out there has got to be listening, let him know that I'm talking about him, because typically they do. Maybe Nick from Dallas is listening, or Rocco. But nonetheless, he'll get home between 10:30, I don't know, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, and he'll take a nap on the couch for a
really?
little bit. And then he's up again and doing whatever. He's doing some kind of a project.
That's funny.
You know, we're building that.
Yeah.
We're in that lot right now. We're not building anything.
the new
So I don't want to
house.
I don't want to give an impression that we're building
Right,
it.
the new house.
No, the Cell Tower Strip Club Casino.
Oh, this
But he's just clearing the lot right now. But he's been working on that, and he'll go. He stays up till 10.
Oh, and then really, and then he gets to bed for a couple hours.
And I'm still awake, like tell him something. So he's out of bed at 2. I don't know. Yeah,
Wow.
his mom was like that though.
Really? Well, sure, because I used
8
to.
kids. She never slept.
Really?
The woman never slept. I could get up or come into the house. You know, we'd come home late, and Mom would be at the kitchen table with her cup of coffee and smoking a cigarette at 2:30 in the morning, and you know, we were in no condition to talk. Just try to sneak past her. She's just such a wonderful woman, and I've really missed her. I've actually really missed her a lot lately because I'd want to reflect back on some of her parenting.
That was probably the first introduction to your family was through Lydia's, because I was still when I first came up here in '97.
Oh yeah, it was
Right.
a good time for the bakery.
Right.
Yeah.
I would go to work 3 days into Manhattan 3 days a week. So I would stop at Lydia's, and after, I don't know, maybe a month or so, she'd have my coffee and my ham and egg on a roll of bacon.
Yeah. And do you remember that giant table?
Oh
of
my
goodies?
God, with all the
And
goodies.
she'd bake all
And
of
it's
that.
funny because I never really had to order, because I used to order ham and egg or bacon and egg.
No.
And no, she would just make one of them. You know, it was like a surprise when I got in the car. You know, whether it be bacon, and she mixed it up enough where it was good. You know, it was funny. But
And my sister-in-law does a tremendous job there
Oh.
now as well. Ronnie from Lydia's Cafe
Yeah.
out there in Stone Ridge. She's
it's funny. I haven't
so
been in, but she
talented
gotta
too,
stop in.
and you
She-
know Jody. They're
Jody, how's Jody doing?
Oh, Jody's great.
Good.
Jody's, you know, she's doing as great as she can be. She's happily employed still.
Really?
Yeah, she's working up at Mohonk.
And she likes that. That's good.
She's working her butt off.
I tell you something, man. She worked a lot of in a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
And no matter what restaurant she went in, she was there. I was like, Jody, what do you think? She goes, she talking about working. She was like,
got
one day
work
she was
ethic.
there, Tuesday she was there. You know, it was like,
All over.
yeah, she was. She's good fun too.
Yeah.
No, that's community, you know, and I think that's the part of what is missing today. Who cared about pop? No, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but no one really cared about the national
Yeah, no,
scene.
nobody did. Not even me sitting at the firehouse.
That's right, Heidi. You didn't. You didn't even know you were registered us in the beginning, right?
No, yeah, we know that story.
Again.
But yeah,
No, it's.
I just want to make sure that we see this generation succeed.
Yeah.
And not give, it's difficult.
they
I'm going to be
will.
honest with you. My son looks around and he does see some people who are collecting unemployment. And, he says he hasn't missed a day of work. And granted, the kid doesn't work a lot, minimum effort. But
Is that nice to say about Bryce?
It's just the
I have to
truth.
defend Bryce here. Maybe that's all the hours they give him.
Yeah, okay. I said to him the other day, I said, you're going to become either a full-time student or you're going to become a full-time employee. So figure it out. I'm giving him the latitude right now
Right.
because quite honestly, it's a
Right.
difficult time. And he said, Mom, if I become a full-time employee now, and I said, you need to, because you know all this whole, you're not going to sleep all day in my, I'm like, I'm a parent. I totally sound like parent talk. You're not going to sleep all day in my house. I'm not having this. And I said, so go find get more hours. He said, I can't request the hours if I don't, because they only change the schedule only every so often.
Right.
Because I don't want to take from someone else and then ask them again to re-switch my schedule.
Right.
Can I work with Dad for a day to make some extra money? It's not if you're not going to do it consistently.
Right.
Consistency matters.
It does. It's funny. The advice, when I was growing up, the advice my mother gave me was show up. Right? And just, return phone calls, show up, just do your job. And I always thought of that. You know, when I opened my first company, second, it's when I merged. All I did was show up, you know, and you just did what you needed to do, and I think that's a different message than you're giving, although a good message. It's you have to participate. You have to work.
Yeah.
I mean that's the bottom line.
Yeah, and he got a job even before he drove, which was difficult on the parent.
Sure.
Luckily, it was close to my house, so Bryce actually works at Walgreens out in Stone Ridge.
Yeah.
And he had an interesting meeting the other day, and the focus was morale. Morale's been down.
Oh, well, no, I wonder why.
And you know, I don't know all the particulars about it, but you know, they're taking a real beating on their call that when people give
Surveys?
Survey.
Right.
So, you know, and I think it mostly stems out of the pharmacy, but it reflects poorly from corporate on the whole.
Sure.
But if I could say, I can't tell you how many times I hear great comments about Bryce and the other, you know.
I told you a couple weeks back when I came to
And
visit
I just
you.
wish if everybody could take a minute to, you know, these people brought us through some of the most difficult times.
Sure.
I mean, you wouldn't think that your local, you know, pharmacy, your local, you know, Walgreens pharmacy, but like Bryce said, there were people who were doing their regular shopping in that pharmacy, in you know, in that store.
Times are tough.
Yeah, and it was just it was a safer environment for some of
Sure.
our older
Sure.
population. And they took us through some really tough times. They never closed a day. They were there. And I understand, you know, I don't want to say we are a sick nation, but we have you know, pharmaceutical industry is big. And I know the pharmacies as well are very overworked. Yeah. But it reflected, and it really brought the morale down in that our hometown store to see these bad ratings and bad reviews. And then it came down hard onto the employees. And he's kind of like got this attitude like, we're not appreciated.
Really?
So, I mean, just consider that. Next time you see, like, your local cashier.
Smile.
Behind your mask, you know.
Right.
You could, you know, do the I'm smiling thing. But essential
It's so tough. And that's the other thing. You know, wearing these masks are no help at all. There's no emotion. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, all you see is a mask.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's true.
It's really strange.
Yeah. It's been an adjustment.
It had, and it's
which leads me to the next question.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of private, but if you don't want to share, that's okay. Sure. I'm just wondering where you're at with your flu shot. Are you a flu shot kind of guy?
You know, it's really funny. I'm not.
I know.
I got mine.
You got yours?
Did you?
Do you normally?
I just started getting it last year.
Okay. How was your last year?
I never actually got it until last year. They said, "Oh, we have a bunch left." I said, "I'll take one." And then I went to the doctor Wednesday, and he's like, "We got flu shots in yesterday." I was like, "I'll take it."
Okay, good.
It's really funny. I was taking it. Then I went through that arrhythmia thing, and it wasn't Dr. Harris. It was anyway. One of my doctors said. I said, "What about the flu shot? Is this gonna?" She said, "Listen."
Did you talk to a doctor, or was it a PA?
No, but that's a funny story. I want to see a real doctor.
Oh God.
I was all right. So you know, I was coming out of anesthesia. It was a tough day.
It's embarrassing.
It was poor Terry. Well, by way of backstory here, Heidi was nice enough to see me when I had a procedure done with Terry, my wife. And when I woke up, I see them both sitting there smiling at me, and I smiled back, I guess. And a person walked in who said that they were a nurse practitioner. So of course, I'm in some kind of crazy daze or whatever I was in. And I said I wanted to see the doctor.
Only wanted to see the doctor.
And they both looked at me like completely mortified. And they both pointed their finger at me at the same time. And they set me straight. And so there's the story.
So then you didn't do flu
So I had been doing them. Then after that, Dr. Lemon, she said that, you know, let's wait a year before I take it. And that was now 2 years ago, and I haven't gone back in 2 years. Now, I have an appointment with her in late November. I was going to say December, but late November.
Yeah, of course you have to always go,
Yeah, I would
listen
go
to
to
your
your
doctor,
physician first.
Definitely.
Yeah, because you have underlining I like in
Wayne
my
has
case.
always been real big on that, and a few years ago, and I remember because I was working for the firehouse, it was 2014, and I had gotten a flu shot for the first time in a
Right.
while, and that spring I got the flu.
Right.
And I was like, what? I went to the doctor. I mean, when
Different strains, but.
Oh, that's what they told me, because they said, you should have really received a flu shot. And I said, well, I did. Where? I said, here. So they pulled the chart, and they said, oh, well, you received a shot for influenza A, and you've contracted influenza B. I was like, really?
Yeah, that's...
So then I was like, I'm not getting the flu shot again. So then I went 2 or 3 more years and got the flu again.
Right.
And didn't get a shot and got the flu.
Right.
So Wayne always gets his flu shots. He's really, really good about it. So the other day I was like, they're really pushing this really hard. Like, I got to make a decision.
How's he feeling with it?
Oh, good. He feels good. Yeah. So I was like, I need to make a decision about this. But more than that, I was really just confused as to why they were really pushing it.
I think
in relation to the COVID. But I heard read a news article or something. I heard on the news perhaps they don't want you to actually have both at the same time.
Of course.
And I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. Well, look at it this way too. I mean, with my hands are chapped.
I know. So that leads me to I was going to talk about the mask. So now we'll be wearing masks and washing.
Right.
So
Am I going to attract
helpful.
the flu anymore? I mean, think about this.
That's what I was wondering
so,
also.
who knows? Right now, I'm holding a handkerchief because I have what you told me I have. The allergy. Oh, it's terrible. I'm suffering like a crazy man. Yeah. But it's just it's just that time of year.
To do the flu shot or not to, but you should always defer to your doctor.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing.
So when I had this conversation with Wayne, he of course brings up, it's science, Heidi. You're not going to argue with science. I'm like, nope, I'm not. Definitely not.
That's so funny. That's the new phrase, Yeah, it's the science. Look at the science.
It's the truth, though. I know, I get it. Definitely is the truth. So
So you guys want to go to break and then we'll come back and do birthdays?
Yeah, we're going to come back and do birthdays.
Birthdays.
Okay, excellent.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here. And it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Central Hudson reminds you, when you're doing yard work, safety matters. If you use a ladder, be aware of overhead electric lines, including the service wire that runs to your house. Even wooden ladders can conduct electricity with dangerous results. And be very careful if there are electric lines above or near a swimming pool, and you're working with skimmers, brooms, or other long-handled tools. Central Hudson wishes you a safe summer.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the why. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive.
And we're back with our favorite time of the day.
It is. You know what time it is?
What time is it?
It's birthday time.
Birthday time. And I'm going to start first. For birthdays for today, September 25th, we have a please wish a very happy birthday to John Langer from your friends at the People's Place. We hope you enjoy your special day. And I only actually have
That's it?
one birthday, so here we go. We have to announce the winner of the
Oh,
Boys
today, that's right. You missed it. You got the bell? You all ready?
I have to announce the winner, though.
Okay, who's the winner?
The Boyce Dairy Milk House winner of the famous cow pie for today, September 25th, is John Langer.
Yay!
Happy birthday, John. Enjoy
Happy
your cow pie.
birthday. All right, so Saturday, the 26th, was a very busy day.
Oh,
And
a
at
lot
the
of
hospital, a
names.
lot of names today. Yeah, we have, I want to wish happy birthday from friends and family to Kelsey Rice. And then we also wish happy birthday from your friends at the Friendship Bible Coffee, and that's to Marianne Falsini.
Happy birthday, Marianne.
Happy birthday. And then I wish happy birthday from your friends at the Town of Ulster Senior Club, Regina Britton.
Oh, happy birthday,
Happy
Regina.
birthday, Regina. Let's see, I think there's a couple more here.
A lot of birthdays.
There is. Okay, then we have, please wish a 13th happy birthday to Abigail Fox from Friends and Family.
Just becoming a teenager. Happy
Amazing. Isn't that cool? 13 years old.
Happy birthday, Abigail.
Well, the winner of the Boyce Dairy House famous cow pie for the 26th is Abigail Fox.
Hey, Abigail, enjoy that cow pie.
There you go. Please go pick it up. Thank you so much. You got it. So
I gave you a lot of birthdays.
that's a good thing.
And happy birthday to anyone else that might be having a birthday.
Yeah.
throughout this weekend. It's going to be a beautiful weekend from what I can see.
I saw something really good on Facebook or Instagram or something. It says someone says it was their birthday. Says, well, it's 2020, it's COVID, and they don't want to count this year at all as a birthday. Yeah, they want to save it for next year. So I guess they're postponing.
I want the cake.
You want the cake? Yeah. Well, you have a birthday week or a month, right?
I do.
Yeah, I do remember.
I
that.
definitely do. And, yeah.
Anyway,
so do we have a caller?
not yet.
Well, we're waiting on caller.
So waiting for a caller. Yeah, maybe I should do that. I'll text Frank to remind him. But
how many people can text a presidential nominee?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Look at us over here, the Independence Party,
Party.
texting our presidential
Candidate.
Canada, yeah.
that I never actually heard of until this morning or the other day.
Remember, you have heard
But
of
no,
him.
I'm going to go home and watch
Remember.
the Mighty Ducks today and try to figure out who this guy is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I'm a really big Emilio Estevez fan. But
Yeah, it's amazing.
he's got to be
stuff.
like 60 now, right?
Emilio?
Not the president, not Brock.
No,
the other
he's
guy.
young.
No, he's
Emilio
talking about
Estevez?
Emilio.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
he's,
no, not
he's
Brock,
old.
no.
Yeah.
No, he
for
must
sure.
be, what, in his 40s maybe? That movie was, what, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
So he was probably 10, right, when he was in the movie?
So hard to believe when you think back to the 90s, and that's like 30 years ago.
Oh, maybe. So no, it's an interesting concept with the Independence Party. Obviously, we have to get the 130,000 votes, obviously, because of the law that was passed, and we.
Talking about that today on Spectrum News as well.
Were they really?
They had the chair for the Conservative Party, state
Right.
chair, and someone from the WFP also.
Yeah, I think the conservatives are backing Trump, and the working families are backing Biden.
Okay.
We have our own candidate. Yeah, we felt that would be the best thing to do. Libertarians didn't come up with anybody, so they're going to be gone. As well as, what was the other party? The Reform Party was gone last time. But it's of the Sam Party. They don't have the candidate either, so they'll be off the ballot. But listen, I think that we need more representation. We need, to have, a third party involved is important. And a middle of the road third party. And I think that's what's more important. The conservatives definitely lean to the right. You have the working families that definitely lean to the left. We're trying to play the middle baseball game. And we have to. I mean, again, I'm going to go back to the same thing I said earlier with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, is that, she was hardcore, and so was Scalia. But again, at the end of the day, they found some really common ground to be friends about. I mean, said they sat on the bench for years together, both doing a fabulous job for efforts that they believed in, and following the law and the Constitution, and interpreting the Constitution the best they could. With what they had, but it's we need to get back to conversation and discussion, and that word is being really overused. Like, we have to have a conversation. Well, it's really a discussion. It's really a debate. We can debate with someone.
And I think that also it's important to understand and even accept, you're not going to agree with every policy.
No.
Especially when it comes down to policy.
Absolutely
So it's finding
not.
somebody that you most, I mean, and this is even just amongst people in general.
Yeah.
If their good attributes outweigh their bad attributes, then, I see it constantly on social media, and we're seeing it play out all over, that people are, losing friends and whatnot over this, and it's just really, really ridiculous.
It is. It's disheartening.
Yeah, definitely. And that's not something that should be happening. And just even like you and I, we clearly don't agree on everything.
Forget it, Heidi. Please. You like tiny houses. I'm losing my mind. No, it's you can't.
No, even on policy, though, you and
Even
I.
on policy, you're exactly correct. There are many times, and to this day, I had to bring a bag today with some Brock stuff in it. And what did I use, Heidi?
Yeah, it's definitely not plastic.
Not a plastic bag. I used a paper shopping bag.
You could reuse that a couple times. That looks like a very nice, reusable brown paper bag.
Yeah.
But it's got fancy handles, but...
Fancy?
Well, I mean, it's not like a grocery bag,
It's a grocery bag with handles.
but a nice one.
That's what they used
You
to
could
give.
even gift that. If you put you could put a gift in that and put a nice ribbon
Well,
on
let's
it.
let's show people. Let's put it in the middle. We have the discussion. Hold on.
For all our viewers.
Yeah, for all the viewers.
You could throw it. Actually, stick them from someplace nice.
Yeah. It comes from. Is this what does that say on the side?
You must have eaten at the Stone House.
I did. No, but it's fun. See, they give out.
And then when you're done, you can cover some textbooks that the kids don't use anymore.
That's right. Remember we used to do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mom used to do butcher paper on ours.
Really?
It was nice. It was white.
Yeah. No, we use paper brown paper.
Yeah.
That's when they used to reuse school books. Do they still do that?
Listen, that was another thing. I said to Lydia, don't you have textbooks you got to pick up anywhere, anything?
No textbooks?
And then at some point, they finally did say she had to come in and pick up a packet. And I think it was her Spanish book. Don't get me going on the Spanish. The Spanish book and a math packet. And that's all she's operating with.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all the textbooks in our house.
Years ago,
Lydia does very well in Spanish. She does so well in Spanish that she does better in Spanish than she does English. So.
Really?
Yeah. It's very
You know,
interesting. Although she tells me she has this year is very difficult because the teacher only teaches in Spanish.
You know, it's funny you say that, but there are some people, the way their brain switches, they can absorb languages. Maybe she should pursue another language to see if that switch is switched, because it is. There's a lot of opportunities for her.
Oh, I believe in that.
Oh, I do.
She needs to be, multilingual.
Really?
Bilingual at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought her a book the other day. We'll see if she reads it.
A Spanish book?
No.
Oh.
Bryce had to go to the dentist, so I spent some time in Barnes and Noble.
Oh.
I said, Lydia, would you like me to get you a book? And there was this awkward silence.
What's a book?
And then she said, sure. I said, well, what is there anything you're interested in? She said, just pick one out for me. And I was like, oh. So I did.
Oh man, I don't know. It's hard
I
to.
brought it home, and she said she read it already, to which I knew she was lying.
I read it already.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I read it online. I got an audiobook, and and that's another funny thing of these kids. They have the technology is insane. You can get audiobooks, you can get books that you read online. Terry's mother is completely into that. She's like off the hook, crazy.
Oh, with the
with books, audiobooks.
Yeah,
she
those are nice, though.
Yeah, she gets the audiobook and the book so she can have someone read it to her.
Yeah, I hate having books around though afterwards. So the audio.
Don't get me started.
Is that what you got rid of a lot of?
Oh my God,
It's the books.
Heidi, you don't understand. I had a beautiful library.
Oh.
I really did, and so I was smart enough to make Terry a deal. The deal I made was that I'll only keep the books that are signed by the author.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How a lot?
Yeah.
Where are you gonna put all those?
No, in my office at the new place, I have shelves built. Yeah. Poor Terry. Why is it a poor Len?
Downsizing.
That's what she keeps telling me.
Downsizing.
Yeah. So we got something
Say
called.
a little prayer.
Right.
and you
We
let it
got
go.
we got something called an induction cooktop.
Oh yeah.
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 So, like, you had to get a magnet to test it on your pots or whatever.
Oh,
I guess barbware pots are not magnetic.
This is how it starts.
Yeah, right. So, like, I gave away like 3 boxes of good pots, perfectly fine, useful.
But you get to start over and just limit yourself to whatever.
Yeah, I just like one frying pan. Right, that's gonna work for me.
It's like camping.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
You came to the house
Yeah, I was just
last year,
thinking
right?
that. We made it work.
You did with one pan and 1 fork, and we made it.
Yeah, we did nice sausage and peppers. It was nice. So where's our candidate?
I don't know. I've texted.
Maybe he's
He may be flying.
He might not have cell service.
He may not have. There's a lot of reasons, or he plainly forgot.
That could definitely be a reason.
But anyway, we talk about him a little bit.
Definitely talk.
So anyway, we have to get these votes. So we felt that it's best that we have our own candidate. When first 4 years ago, we backed Johnson with the Libertarians. We got 120,000 votes, and the Libertarians got 67,000 votes. That was a total of about 180,000 votes, or thereabout, 90,000 votes, or thereabout. We have about just over 500,000 Independence Party members in the state. So, if you get 30% out, we're there. And that's what we're hoping for. So we're just trying to maintain the line, obviously. We do feel that, the optimistic side of the party feels that we go over. And we become, we bring out, right now, a line Z, I believe,
That means on your ballot. You can find us under line Z.
Z,
That's what
right.
Len's saying, not me.
Right. What we're saying is that we're last right now. No, actually, we're second to last. But
Who's below us? Or were below us?
Sam, the Sam party.
They're gone now. That bumped
They're,
us
they're
up.
going to be gone anyway. But there's a possibility that we can go to third or fourth this year. But then again, in 2 years we vote for governor. So we support Cuomo again, or we find a candidate. I mean, those are the options, right? You support the incumbent, or a Republican candidate. I mean, and there are several out there, I would assume, at this stage. They should be lining up.
I did see one.
Who?
Didn't I point it out to you the other day?
No.
I gotta look it up again. I forgot who.
Was it Harry Wilson?
No.
What? He was a good guy. He ran for comptroller years ago. Did very well. Lost, but did very well.
I don't think you've heard of him.
No. So you got this time for that. But right now we have to get past this, and if we get past this, great. But Brock again seems to be the right person for us after vetting and things like that. So we cannot complain.
Somebody mentioned a former name that we're all familiar with,
Who's that?
Gibson.
It's funny. He's got such. I have to tell you. Listen, Chris is a great guy, great congressman. He would be fabulous.
Yeah, well, he's not running, but there is a Gibson
No.
for governor, but it's
Oh.
Derek Gibson.
Oh, because Gibson's got a great job now.
Yeah.
He's a president of college.
Yep, he's up at Siena.
Right. So I mean, let's face the facts. The guy's really written. Yeah, and that's where he should be. That's where he's best.
But somebody had mentioned they heard he was going to be seeking. He announced his candidacy for governor, and I looked into it, and I said, "Gee, I hadn't heard that. I'm fairly certain I would have heard about it."
Yeah,
and it's
I agree.
another gentleman, Derek Gibson. I've not heard of him, but
No.
he has announced his intent to run.
Good luck.
You say that with such optimism.
It's just so tough, with
so funny because I'm getting all my Facebook memories
Are ya?
from last year.
And
They're great. I start to miss connecting with my constituency.
Wow.
Because I've, very limited now, it's like I want.
how do you go door to door? You don't.
I think the candidates are, though.
What they're doing is a knock and dropping.
Knock and drop.
Yeah. Which means that they're taking a piece of literature and hanging it on the doorknob. They're trying to keep away. I know.
The pancake breakfasts and the firehouse.
That's. I mean, I missed them just in the perspective of going to
Falls
them.
would have been having theirs coming up. It's closer to the
Yeah,
end of
that-
October, right?
That's one of the best breakfasts around.
Yeah, we used to do our pancake breakfast for KCR at Spring Lake.
Right.
But now that you told me Jared's gone.
Just confirm that, though, 100%.
Yeah, no, I haven't even. I've called him on his phone and he hasn't answered. So.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him at the deli. We used to get breakfast, and a lot of people go to this deli right here on the corner of Washington and
Right.
Lucas Raj's Deli. I haven't seen him in there since like January.
Wow.
Yeah, and we usually do our KCR breakfast at Spring Lake, but we didn't do it this year. And man,
What month do you usually do that?
the second week of March we usually did it.
Oh, that was a
So
really
we were
bad
just
time.
about to, we were getting ready to
This
do it,
year.
and then we had to put it on hold, and we were moving here. So there was a lot of stuff going on, and we got the keys to here 2 days before we got locked down. I mean, thank God, or we'd still be next
That's
door.
true.
And Heidi would be wearing a coat right now.
Snowsuit. That's true.
And there's no bathrooms over there. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. And again, actually, we should let everybody know where we're at now that we're speaking about that.
So, let's talk about raising money for the play. I mean, this
Yeah.
is so important.
Where'd my notes go about our amount?
We need to have these kinds of shows. This is really the heart of Kingston Community Radio. And now with YouTube, I have people listening and tuning in, and that's a good thing. Then I could be happy. No.
Yeah, so we want to keep it going, and we like the way it is, and the history of this radio station,
Yeah.
and it hasn't changed, and it's still representative of the listeners. we need your help to keep us on the air. So we're still trying to reach our goal. I think Lauren said, what were we up to now? 81?
Yeah, I came in this morning and there was a nice young lady on the answer machine. She made a huge donation that brought us to $8,100.
$8,100.
So we need $3,900 and we're done. And we're good till probably the end of March, beginning of April at the latest. So
we're looking for a few more dollars. So you can call in at 331-1004 or send a check to Kingston Community Radio, P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, New York, 12402.
There you go.
That's the thing. See, it's 12402. You want to make sure that we get your
Or maybe
check.
I can get Hugh and Mario are on Monday. Maybe I can get them to just cut the check for the $3,900.
There you go.
And we'll be done.
There you go. Yeah, are they on Monday again?
They're on Mondays, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a good show.
They just started last month, and it was a really good show. They had Clegg on.
Yeah.
And they had Jim Quigley on.
Right.
They were the first two guests.
Right.
Now, Quigley used to be on Wednesdays with Greg and Fred, and then he stopped coming around when we moved over here.
Interesting.
So we just got him back.
Might have been too rich
we'll
for
see.
that
I don't know who their
Quigley
guests are for Monday.
Yeah.
But they've been having a good show, though.
No, I tell you, Mario's a quintessential Republican chair, and Hugh's just great. I mean, I have to tell you, the history, the stuff he comes up with, the stuff he remembers is amazing about Ulster County politics. And
his articles, he used to write City Beat, right? And
you're
Daily
kidding
Freeman,
me?
they
There
were
was a
good.
time where if you didn't make his Christmas list, you were nobody, right?
I did make the list.
And he always asked the tough questions too. I always liked you. I grew up. I'm friend. His kids. Well, one of them is relatively my age,
Right.
and they grew up right down the street. He grew up. Their house was on Main Street.
Right.
We were on Mountain View, so I used to ride my bike past his house all the time. And I've known Hugh for a long time. And he used to run the Ulster County Gazette too.
Yep,
way
that's
back
right.
in the day.
Yep. I don't know if Ed Gaddy was even into that paper at some point in time.
Who? Gaddy?
Gaddy.
No.
Ed Gaddy.
No. I don't know.
But
and then he worked at Ulster Publishing for a while, and then we tried to make a run at him say a year ago, and he just wasn't interested. And then he called my mother one day, and then I called him back, and we got him on right away, and their first show was great.
Yeah. And now he's writing for, I think it's called The Wire, the Hudson Valley Wire, if I'm not mistaken, which is
that
great.
the new paper that's coming out?
Yeah, well, it's an online.
It's an okay, so
paper.
it's not.
Yeah, it's electronic.
Okay.
It's hard to publish today. It's hard to print paper and ink.
Yeah, there's no KTB is out of business, so you got to send it up to Schenectady. That's where the next printing mill is.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's.
So what happened with your boy? Where's he at?
I gotta say, I gotta throw a seek forgiveness. I guess. Maybe
he's getting ready for the debate on Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't.
So hurtful.
Oh no, I'm sure he'll fall.
Stood up.
We've been stood up, Heidi.
Shoot.
Damn.
Only you and I got
Did he text you back?
Right. There goes that chance to have me the presidential candidate on KCR.
I'm sure you get. I mean, we have 39 days till election. I'm sure you could get him on again.
Yeah, we'll try again.
You guys are on the.
We'll see what happens.
You guys are on the 10th.
Right
again,
now,
right?
thank God we have the Jesus.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna help. Did you text him? What did he say?
Nothing. I got no response here.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
But it's all good.
But
Maybe
it's all
he thinks
good.
he's not going to win, so he's like, forget it.
Oh, yeah. Frank did respond. So sorry.
Hey, tell him he's got 36 minutes. It's a good time to call right now.
That's
the
pretty
most
funny.
people are actually listening right now.
Excuse me?
Yeah, the most people are actually listening. Yeah, the most people listen between 7:45 and 8:45.
That's good.
No, so they're just
Good
stuck
to
with
know.
Len and I now. So they
All right, well, we got a couple minutes to break. You want to go to break
They
early?
say, they say
call?
that they may try to get him on now. I don't know what's going on.
So we'll see.
All right, do you want to go to break early and you can give him a call?
Sure.
Okay, good. Let's do
Sounds
that.
good. Thanks.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
On top of first-class care, you will never receive a bill. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable. St. Jude saved her life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org. A message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare.
There's pain that does not stop.
I feel trapped by migraine.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
I feel like I'm dying. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Central Hudson reminds you that summer thunderstorms can strike with strong, gusty winds, knocking down trees and power lines. If you see a downed power line, call 911 immediately to report it. Power lines can carry an electric current strong enough to cause injury or death. Stay at least 30 feet away from a fallen line. Don't try to move it or anything that has come in contact with it. And never drive over a power line. Remember, your safety matters.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Hi, my name is Jackie Lovezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support the Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
And we're back. Lawrence, you're just always such like a...
So apparently Len's got him on the phone right now. Maybe he had the wrong phone number.
Yeah, probably a
I mean, that doesn't bode well. If you can't remember a phone number, you're running for president. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He's fine. He's going to be great.
The numbers.
Give the wrong number.
I'm sure.
What was he calling was he calling the business line?
I'll tell you the number I gave. I gave him the same number I gave Frank.
Oh, true that.
Okay.
But who knows?
All right. Well, let me go to the phone now.
In any case.
Are we on? We're on. So here's where we are right now. I guess he's trying to call in, and
we'll chat.
We'll chat
until he calls in.
He's on. It's perfect. This couldn't happen to a better people.
This is just typical of what would happen to us. Okay. It's his secretary. We're waiting. We're patiently waiting.
Brock's secretary's on the phone.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
So who's our guest?
Brock Pierce.
All right, you guys ready?
We're ready.
Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, Brock. Are you there?
I am here.
Hey, how are you? Len Bernardo here with Heidi Haynes.
Good morning, Brock. Thanks for taking the time to call us in.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you.
We're kind of having some fun, but we explained earlier, obviously, you're running on the Independence line. We're really happy to have you there. You know, just let us know how you feel about going and what your experience has been like so far.
Well, running for president is, it's stepping into the ultimate sort of ring. I mean, you are inviting in scrutiny and every decision you ever made in your life being analyzed, and it takes a tremendous amount of courage. Was why so many great potential leaders, never step up to this plate, even though we desperately need it. And as an independent candidate, it's a rigged system, and I can tell you from the inside, having run through this process, it's a very rigged system that is designed to prevent third parties from participating. Fortunately for me, I'm a
Did we lose you? Oh, can't make it up if you had to.
Lawrence? In any case, clearly we're having some technical...
We're having some technical difficulties.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. You're back.
You know why this is, though? Excuse me, Brock, just 1 second. We're in a retrograde. Just putting that out there.
Oh, are we really?
I'm glad you're back, Brock. Welcome to the fray. Go ahead and continue.
So I was saying that the system is, the system is rigged, but, working our way through it. I'll just, to give you an example, in New York, you normally need 15,000 signatures to get on the ballot, call it petitions. And so in April, in the heart of COVID, as New York is getting hit worse than anywhere in the world, you can't go door to door. You can't collect those signatures. So what do you think happens? You would think that you would lower the signature to support and facilitate the democratic process, or maybe you accept electronic signatures, right?
Right.
Or you do nothing. New York increased the number from 15,000 to 45,000 to ensure that any candidate that had been working the last couple of years on this would fail in New York. And then another thing that happened, so I've been endorsed by the Independence Party of New York.
Yep.
Put in place a rule for third parties that says if you put a candidate on the ballot and that candidate doesn't get at least 130,000 votes in the general election, your party is disbanded.
That's right.
And these things are not supporting democracy at a time that I think that we desperately need more choice. I can summarize in one word why I'm running for office. I'm running for president. I can summarize it in one word: love.
Yep.
Love.
When I first met you, when Frank and I came down, when you made your announcement with the Independence Party, we were very proud to have you on the line. Heidi is also a legislator. She's also an Independence Party member. When they upped it to 133,000 during a presidential and gubernatorial year, it made it twice as hard. And together as a team, the Brock for President team, and Carl obviously is a wonderful person. We were talking about her earlier. Couldn't thank you enough for carrying the flag with us, and us with you and you with us. So no, it's exciting times here.
It is indeed, and our time is now. Our time has come. If not when, if not now, when this United States is feeling very much like the divided states. We're divided politically, racially, economically, while at the same time facing very real existential threats from technology, environmentally. It's like now is the time to make the change. We're doomed if we don't do something different. And for the independents, it is really worth knowing that you've got over 40% of eligible voters not voting, over 30% of registered voters as independents. By 2024, 38% of registered voters will be independent.
Yep.
We are the majority. We have the power to make the change as soon as we wake up from the illusion that we have only two choices.
That's right.
The choice is ours. The choice is ours.
It's really amazing that I was saying earlier today that we had Ruth Bader Ginsburg pass, and she broke many glass ceilings. And one of her obviously opponents or other side judge was Scalia, but yet they argued at the court, but they were friends. and they got things done. And you talk about, Brock, being either you come together or polarize, and right now we're polarized.
Yeah, very much so, and it's a good thing that you point out there, and it's something that we desperately need. What happened to the good old days where you could engage in conversation with dignity and respect with people that you disagree with? And you may agree to disagree at the end of the conversation, but at least you learn something.
Yep.
You understand the perspective of the other party.
Yep.
And through that shared understanding, you can potentially find a path forward. Our differences are amazing. Thank God we're all different. But we have to learn to get along. We're in this together. So I'm in the state of Wyoming right now.
Wow.
I've been testifying before the Wyoming legislators on technology. Wyoming is becoming the capital of innovation in the United States.
Wow.
If you want to be on the forefront of big things happening, it's not happening in California. It's not happening in New York. It's happening here. New banking laws. It's just amazing because we have to learn to evolve and adapt, right, to the ever-changing circumstances. And Wyoming gets it. And one of the other amazing things is that legislators here in Wyoming pass laws unanimously. You can't tell the difference in with legislators between the Democrats and the Republicans because they're actual civil servants, and they get along and they figure out how to find compromise and they find a path forward together for the residents of Wyoming. It's an extraordinary thing. I'm gonna get a documentary made, a movie, because they are demonstrating that it is possible. There is a better way, and it's such an amazing thing to witness and to see how this little state, big in size but small in population, is having the faith necessary to step into the future, and they're going to be huge beneficiaries of it. We are living through the fourth industrial revolution and embracing the change at a time where we really desperately need it. It's happening here. Wyoming is leading the way.
It's interesting you say that. Heidi and I was speaking again earlier, and I've mentioned this to Heidi previous to today, that I think the next industrial revolution is technology, is robotics. We want manufacturing so badly here, but obviously we have to compete with places like China and places like that. But the fact of the matter is, what's going to bring our kids through, or the next generation through, is technology. And it's a different kind of work. It's a different kind of the United States of America.
And we need to have a trained and skilled workforce for that as well.
Exactly. The youth is the next generation. It's all about the youth, and we have to find an effective education for everyone. That's one of the things that just the thing that I'm really concerned about with COVID that no one's really talking about is obviously the mental health issues and the mental health impact it's having on this country, but specifically with the young people being displaced from school and all the things that they normally need to know, and then being hit with this trauma at a young age. The long-term impacts, our traumas in our youth, we carry into our adulthood, and they become our triggers, and all these, a lot of, our problems stem from it. And really, really concerned about it. So in Wyoming, again, it's farming and ranching, but really it's an energy state, right? Energy is everything, coal in particular. And so innovation is the answer to our problems. Technology most of the time, but innovative thinking. But innovation is the answer. There is a 21st century solution to our 21st century problems. So you take coal. Everyone either has a family member or a friend that works in the coal industry here. And with technology, carbon capture technology, those coal plants will be allowed to continue to operate, those jobs will be preserved, and our environment will be protected. Technology can solve problems. And so the government here put in place a really important program acknowledging what you just said. It's called From Coal to Code, and teaching the next generation in high school. Coding is already part of the curriculum here because the government here recognizes that English obviously is our first language, but coding is effectively that language. And we don't really have an effective education anymore. I would argue our education system is more a system of indoctrination in many ways. It is not teaching young people the skills they need right now to operate in the 21st century, and not just education, but where this is needed everywhere. And I would argue on the technology note that technology might be the biggest issue we face as a nation. Technology has changed everything. It's changed all of our businesses. It's changed all of our lives. Social networking is disrupting our democracy. Check out this movie on Netflix if you haven't yet. It's called The Social Dilemma. Really, really powerful stuff. But that's backwards, right? That's looking backwards, like our government does. It manages technology through the rearview mirror. Like when you see the tech giants come testify before our government doesn't even know what questions to ask.
That's true.
It's so sad that we don't have our finger on the pulse around this most important issue. One of the reasons I'm running, we need visionary leadership that understands how technology is impacting our lives so that we can navigate that road with foresight, because you can't put the cat back in the bag.
Nope.
We allow these companies to get too big too fast, and we didn't manage it appropriately. Take the most precious commodity in the world for a long time was gold, right? Then it became oil, became the new gold. Right now, the most precious commodity in the world is your data. Your information is the most important commodity in the world. And do you know where your data is? Do you know who owns your data? Do you know how your data is being bought and sold and sent all over the place? No. But that is your most important information. And our government, I think, had a very real responsibility to make sure to protect our digital DNA, to protect our rights around our data. Most people don't know what they've consented to, don't know where it is, and our government ultimately has to figure out a process for us to be able to reclaim our data, our DNA, our digital DNA, and ultimately we have to find a way where we as the American people are benefiting from the commodity that is us, that is being bought and sold and traded. It's I believe in this data ownership concept. You own your data. Unfortunately, it's a mess that has to be. It's much harder to fix it once it's broken.
Yep, absolutely.
Back together again.
It's really funny you say that. I call it the creepy line. If you ever I talk to my spouse or I speak to Heidi about the price of eggs. Next thing you know, I go on social media and they talk about eggs. It's like, how did that happen? But at the same time, why is it happening? So I call that the creepy line. Yeah, it's wild.
Technology is amoral. It's not good or bad. It's a tool.
Right.
How we use it, in terms of those people that are building it, what intentions and what they're attempting to do, what their goals are, how we as consumers use it, and how our government regulates it. Technology matters. With artificial intelligence coming online, robotics, automation, the future of work is going to change. And, we have to have our finger on the pulse. We have to have leadership in our government that understands how to deal with technology to ensure that it is a tool to enhance our lives, which it can and will be.
Yep. You have any questions, Heidi?
No, I don't have any questions, but I just would like to thank him for bringing up such important topics that
Oh,
are
my
really,
goodness.
really, truly relevant that a lot of people oversee. And Brock really hits on a point regarding our children right now with the lack of going to school. And Len and I had this conversation before you came on, Brock, that I really feel like during COVID right now, we're lowering the bar for them, and I don't want to set such low standards for them. There's so many co-occurring disasters that are going on. One being a mental health disaster as well. But if my child is doing school from home, and like I said to Len, I caught her laying in the bed and trying to Zoom into class, and that's just not going to work. So you bring up very, very relevant points that a lot of people aren't even speaking about right now. So thank you for bringing that to the table. But that's how independent minds think,
That's
like
right.
yours and mine and Len's. Very good.
No, it's interesting. I have some fun stuff here. When Brock, a couple weeks back, was in New York City, and he opened up his headquarters here. So if anybody wants a signed Brock sign or bumper sticker or face mask, please let me know, and we'll get them to you. But Brock, it's really the things that you're hitting on are our future government and what the government should look like, the conversations we should be having. We're stuck right now in a place of old ways of doing things, and it's just not happening.
It's time for a change. We have the power to do it right now, or we can do it later. The sooner we do it, the better off we'll be. What served us in the past is no longer going to serve us in the future. And as Albert Einstein is often quoted with saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
It's funny. Yep.
Vote for the person you believe in. Do what you think is right. Do not let anyone convince you of anything otherwise. You don't settle. You don't compromise. You have to vote for the people you believe in and have faith that the rest will work out as intended.
Yeah, Frank McKay says it a different way, but the same exact way. And that's like, we know right now it's nearly impossible for Brock to win, but we're not looking at him to win now. We want him to win next time. That he's a future president of the United States of America, and this is why we're putting so much effort with him and behind him, because we want to get the message out. We want to be able to say we need this third party. We need to take a hard look, and I have to thank Brock over and over again for putting himself out there, going, touring, being away from his family, doing this stuff for us to minimally just get the word out for the next time. And that's where it's at right now.
Absolutely. And Brock, I thank you very much for taking the time to come to talk to our residents here in Ulster County, upstate New York.
Yep.
Hopefully our paths will cross again. Until then, I send you much strength, positive energy. Keep your vibe high. We'll be watching you. We'll be rooting for you, cheering you on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And we'll be in upstate New York and on a bus tour here shortly. So we'll be there in, late-ish October. Maybe we can...
hey, let's catch up, Brock. Yeah, please let me know when you do that.
Will do. I will make sure, and we're making a note of it right now.
We'll get you right through Ulster, Sullivan, Delaware.
Good stuff. All right, Brock, you be well.
Be well. Brock the vote. Thank you so much.
Brock the vote.
All right.
Thanks very much, guys.
You got like 5 more minutes.
Okay. So what'd you think of that? Good guy, isn't he?
Sounds like a wonderful man. Anyone who wants to put themselves out there, let me tell you, that's a big step,
Well, we keep saying again that we want to get the idea of having the third-party conversation.
With that being said,
yes,
I don't want to detract from the wonderful interview that we just had here.
Yeah.
You did a good job, Len. But, the comment is going to be a vote for anyone other than the 2 major party candidates is a wasted vote. What do you say to that?
That's a really good question. And the matter of fact is this: whether Brock takes a vote away from Biden or whether Brock takes a vote away from Trump is meaningless, because you're voting for an independent party person that has a different idea. So you're not wasting your vote. You're not throwing your vote away. You're saying, I believe in the future.
You're voting on your values and your ideology.
You are. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've been talking about this for a long time, you and I, and about your race specifically, Heidi. You're allowed to have an independent. That's why you chose our party. And that's what makes you so successful. You are not afraid to make hard decisions for your constituents by listening to them. That's foreign to government today.
And conversely, I don't mind joining a different caucus.
Correct. That's right.
If
you believe in
some side of the aisle is more correct on something, or I align more with
that's right.
And that was what Brock spoke to regarding the Wyoming legislature.
Precisely.
Unanimous votes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You're talking about coal. I know a little bit about what's going on there, and it's very interesting. They don't strip mine. They don't do anything that we would consider negative. They what they call core drill, which means they drill holes, they come up, and the hole literally is a hole, and they mend it immediately. So the reclaiming of a hole is done immediately while drilling. when you do things right, through technology and through science, right? This is where we succeed as a country. So getting back to your question of, is it a waste? It's not a waste of vote. The message you're sending is simple, is that, yes, I want to have a different way of looking at the way we're doing things today. And this stuff about who, if you're taking a vote away from one or the other, I'm sorry to say that's something that we all should get out of our mind. And it's not what I hate Trump or I hate Biden. It's not that at all. It's a different way of viewing what we want, the government to look like, the we the people. You look at the young people specifically. A young man like Bryce, we keep bringing Bryce. We should pray Bryce for his name today. That's into technology. We have to give them the opportunity to motivate them.
Coding, though.
Forget it.
When Brock mentioned coding, and I hear Bryce going, I don't like coding, but
but sometimes, coding brings you to other places. But, it is what it is. He has to learn.
It was refreshing to hear Brock speak about the future, because that's not in a technology and an innovation type of a way. It's not something that and to actually really speak about our youth. I really haven't heard too many people speak.
None of them.
And that's our future. That's where our biggest investments should be going right now.
Precisely, education. Listen. This is the reason why we're supporting this guy.
And he used the word indoctrination in our school. That was very interesting.
Yeah. So, he's not too far off. But he's our candidate, the Independence Party candidate. Like he said, we're looking for 133,000+ votes to maintain our line so we can continue this effort of creating a third party in the nation. Today, we're only represented in 18 states. Right now, Brock is running in 17 states, I believe, and they're working on right now the 18th. But I think they're in court in one state. The fact of the matter is we need to make this a nationwide effort. And that's why we keep saying over and over, we know that it's going to be very difficult for him to win. The odds are very much against him even coming close to winning. If we win a state, that would be a miracle, okay? With that said, this is spreading the word for the future. We want to view him as a person that can be the future president of the United States of America. You call me a believer, call me crazy. I don't really care. The fact of the matter is we need to take a different look. We need to start getting back to what you and I said earlier, what are the old ways? When we say things like, that's not the way it used to be, or the new norm, all these phrases that bother me and maybe annoy you in some perspective, maybe this is a new normal. Maybe looking at the youth as being leaders.
We're not looking back anymore.
Look forward.
Looking forward.
You got to look forward. We got to look at better ways.
The only time we're going to look back is to see how far we've come.
Yep. Hey, Heidi, again, a great show again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was great.
Sorry about the toboggle with Rob.
No, it worked out good. He had some good things to say.
It wouldn't be a Heidi and Friends show if, we didn't screw something up a little bit.
No, you guys did good. I got a few new face masks that actually feel good on my face.
If you want
not
face
the ones
masks,
that are all scratchy.
We got bumper stickers.
A bumper sticker that I'll put on my wheelbarrow at
Brock
home.
To vote. We're gonna leave you a signed Brock to vote poster.
Yeah, you can leave me a Brock poster. Sure.
There you go.
Right, we got plastic Jesus.
We got
We're all
it
good.
all here.
So yeah. So thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Len.
Thank you
we'll
very
be back
much.
Monday with Hugh Reynolds and Mario Catalano.
Great.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio, KCR.